So, JuJu Watkins, one of the top players in women's college basketball right now. Genuinely, like, look, whether or not you are that high on JuJu Watkins as a player, whether or not you think she's going to be, like, the greatest ever, she's still really freaking good. Like, she is, since Stewie, the second best prospect. After, obviously, 22 in Indiana. But still, absolutely ridiculously good player. And here is her talk about, the new fans. The new fans that, the owner of the Atlanta Dream does not want anymore. That she wants completely gone. And let's take a read of this. So, scoring record isn't taking any of new attention for granted as a college player. Look, the reality of the situation is that, look, she's not going to break the scoring record. Mainly because it's really it's going to be so tough. Like, that record's not going to be broken anytime soon. It's not going to be broken anytime soon, and that's not on JuJu. Like, JuJu could very well overtake Kelsey Plum, but, like, there's a big gap between Kelsey Plum and the the Caitlin Clark record. But this is what JuJu has said. So many new fans being in sports sometimes can be not necessarily challenging, but can kind of give you a headache a bit. Not a lot of people know what they're talking about sometimes, but it's great for the sport. The fact that people are watching is enough in itself, Watkins said when asked by Fox News Digital in an exclusive interview about what challenges come with the sport's new attention. We would like it to be positive, but it's not always going to be like that. So as long as we continue to raise the numbers of viewership, I think that's all we can ask for. Watkins said she even wants those fans to cheer for her too. But even if they end up hating her, she will still embrace the fact that they're paying attention. When asked if she wants the sport's controversial new fans to cheer for her too, she said, "Oh yeah, I love supporters. I also love the haters. I think it's just part of the game. There's so many sides to it, so it's the nature of the game, and there's always going to be negative and positive aspects to it." Clark for the award, John said, Clark chosen because it's the way the media... Oh, yeah, sorry. According to the Mystics owner, she said it was chosen because the media plays race and didn't do enough to recognize other players. But Watkins thinks Time made the right call. I'm all for it. I honestly think she deserves it. I don't think anyone has changed the trajectory of sports so much, so I honestly think she deserves every bit of it. And to be fair, like, there's a reason. I don't think I've ever heard anybody dislike JuJu Watkins. I genuinely don't think I've ever heard anyone dislike JuJu Watkins. I think there's a difference between saying maybe she's a little bit overhyped. I think she's overhyped as a scorer. That's my funny thing when it comes to JuJu, is that I actually think she's a way better defender than people give her credit for, but I don't think she's as good a scorer as people say. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, she's going to break all the records, she's going to be this, like, the greatest scorer in WNBA history. And I'm like, she is a good scorer. A really good scorer. But I think she is an elite defender. And, like, I think her all-around game is more important, in my opinion, is a bit better in my opinion than just the scoring, which is what people focus on. People focus on all of the the ways she scores, like, oh, she's got all these moves, but I'm like, JuJu Watkins on the defensive end might be better than on the offensive end. But I think that's as far as the criticism goes. But the reality is, she's not going to break the scoring record, so that talk's going to quiet down very soon. And we just kind of appreciate how good JuJu Watkins is. Like, JuJu Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo in that 2027 draft class are going to be insanely good. And, like, the 2027 WNBA draft class is so stacked. Again, like, I haven't seen a single person put the 7'5" Zhang Jiu on their mock draft. She's 7'5". Like, Michaela Williams is in that draft class too. She's very good. Madison Booker is obviously really good. Oh, I finally saw Zhang Jiu on a mock draft. She's been on one. And this mock draft, by the way, has Hannah Hidalgo going 9th to what I'm reading right now. Malaysia Fulwiley. Like, there are a lot of really good... I think there are 6 really good players in that 2027 draft. JuJu, Williams, Booker, Jiu, Fulwiley, and Hannah Hidalgo. And then you just never know, because it's hard to judge them in their second year. Like, if you were judging after their sophomore year, I think people would have still thought Paige Beckers was going to be the number 1 pick in that draft. But JuJu Watkins says Angel Reese is her current rookie of the year. Who cares? It wasn't, like, genuinely, who cares? At that time of the year, it was kind of close. Who cares? They set her up with a question. She had given Caitlin Clark so much public support at that point. It's not shocking she jumped over the other way in a this or that. It's like, Not to be shady, sounds a lot more mature than a lot of these WNBA vets. She has the correct mindset of it all. Certain WNBA media folks last season would blankly criticize new fans being stupid or annoying, essentially, which is pretty stunning. I mean, the ominous fans. Do you guys never forget the ominous fans? It didn't feel like they were cheering. It felt like something more sinister. It was like it was an ominous environment. I'm paraphrasing it. It was like every time the Fever scored, their fans would erupt, and it felt like something a lot more sinister than just cheering for the team. It's like, I genuinely don't think you've ever these people had ever been to sports before. I think that's one of the biggest problems with the whole old WNBA media is that, like, it's like these people are not sports people. And like, I don't think, look, as much as, just like when it comes to the NBA, dumb takes are going to be criticized. Like if Stephen A. Smith says something dumb, if Charles Barkley says something dumb, if there's a lot, like if they all say something dumb, they get called out for what they say is dumb. Like, for example, like criticizing Joy Taylor for the really dumb Caitlin Clark take that she made a while ago, criticizing Gina Oriema for the dumb take, criticizing all, like, people on media should be criticized for dumb takes. But the thing is that, like, there are not that many people demanding, say, Andrea Carter or demanding Chinea Nwumike be fired from ESPN. If they are, they're idiots, because these are basketball people. It's very different when you're talking with basketball people, and you look at the fact WNBA have given media credentials to the person who called Caitlin Clark a school SH00TER. They've given media credentials to say that Caitlin Clark acts like a teenage boy and uses the privilege for being a teenage boy. The amount of people in WNBA media that have liked tweets implying Caitlin Clark or one of her Iowa teammates look like men, and they're still getting WNBA media credentials. Like people responding positively to racist tweets about Caitlin Clark, or at least, if you don't want to use that word, racial insults on Caitlin Clark. These type of people being in the WNBA media, and the problem is that it's a really bad look for them. And then you hear the Sheila Johnson thing as well. Like, I don't think she's not like, if you think that the reason, like, Caitlin Clark didn't deserve that award and everyone should have it, it's nothing to do, like, again, it's fans you don't like, and that's why it's so annoying from Renee Montgomery. She's an actual basketball person. Like Aja Wilson, we all know what Aja Wilson is. Like, she wants to be Queen Bee. Aja Wilson would gladly burn down the WNBA as long as she's on top of the Ashes. We kind of know that. And it's great to see these young players coming through. And it's like, look, even though I don't think they particularly like each other, there is a respect there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And I think both, like, Angel Reese will say it as much as anyone that Caitlin Clark's good for the game. And it's the same with all these young players, with Paige, with obviously with Paige, with Cam Brink, with, in the future, Hidalgo, JuJu, Flau'jae. All of these players is like, there is going to be a changing of the guard, because these players grew up as, realistically, by the end of their freshman year in college, a lot of these people were millionaires. These people were not having to go over and play in Russia in their off seasons, having to go over and play in China. Like, these players came into the league as celebrities. They were millionaires before they're in the league. They're continuing to be millionaires. They're continuing all their brand deals. So there's no resentment from these young players coming through about players getting attention. Whereas there is a lot of resentment when it comes to a lot of the older players, because they didn't get the attention they probably think they deserved it. The reality is that, like, it's like George Mikan complaining that Michael Jordan got too much attention. Oh, like, not quite the equivalent. It's like Bill Walton complaining that Michael Jordan got too much attention. I don't know. Either way, though, JuJu Watkins defending Caitlin Clark, fair. Because the reality is that there is a non-zero chance that JuJu Watkins has as much of an impact. And when she starts getting the awards, the reality is if they start trying to tear down JuJu Watkins like they will with Caitlin Clark. Because don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Like, people are just, I think a lot of these WNBA people are just using the race thing as an excuse to dislike Caitlin Clark. I think it's more so than anything that Caitlin Clark is not part of the club. She's not part of the club, and I don't think JuJu Watkins is either. She said no to UConn. She said no to SC. She said no to these colleges and said, screw it, I'm going to USC. So yeah, I think JuJu Watkins is a lot more like Caitlin Clark than people realize just as a person. But anyway, I'll see you guys.